Hi, this is Doc, and you're probably wondering, what am I doing here? Well, this is Stormtalon's Lair, the first of the many dungeons in Wildstar Online. So what this basically is an introductory guide, and will show you some of the denizens that you will be killing and getting all their sweet fat loot. Wildstar is a little bit different because they don't really have trash mobs in your dungeons and raids. What they do have is a base population. So instead of having to deal with a bunch of random mobs you'll have to kill to progress through the boss, you're going to run into small but powerful groups of basically mini bosses. The first base pop group you're going to run into is going to be the Thundercall Shaman and the Thundercall Sentinel. It's a pretty easy tank and spank group to deal with. The Thundercall Sentinel is kind of the tank of the group. He's going to throw out a slow shockwave AoE telegraph that you're going to be able to easily dodge out of if you can't interrupt. Worry about it if you can, interrupt it if you can, but the big issue is the Thundercall Shaman. They will regenerate the pair of them, and that is the imperative interrupt. For most of Stormtalon, you're going to want to bring 2 interrupts per person if you can scrape it. If you're a spell slinger, bring 3. Or if you can do it with your class, bring 3. The more the merrier. The next group you're going to run into are the Thundercall Stormwatcher and its 2 bird buddies, the Thunderbeak Flesh Rippers. Pretty easy fight. Mainly you'll want to watch out for the Stormwatcher. They have 2 quick succession casts that they can do. Easy interrupts, only 1 interrupt armor on him, so just blowing on him makes the limit of opportunity and the damage much faster and the fight much easier to deal with. Have the tank keep him grouped, you burn him down in no time. After the Stormwatcher and his buddies, if you get a chance, take a breather, don't worry about it. If it's your first time playing Stormtalon's Lair, let the tank bring the next group to you. This little corridor before the first actual boss of the encounter can be really tricky as you have a patrol that will aggro from a very big range. Just take out the Thundercall Shaman and the Sentinel, you're golden. Watch out for the Thundercall Stormweaver. They will hit you with a dot that will last on you and do ticking damage, so healers keep an eye on that. But the big thing here is when he starts casting Conductor. It's a single target small AoE that will stun the affected player for the almost entirety of the cast. It will kill you if your team is not fast enough to interrupt it. 3 quick armor breaks, he's good to go, he's down for the count. You can move on to Bladewind the INVOKER. Welcome cupcakes to Wildstar. Bladewind the INVOKER is your first massive challenge you're going to find at level 15, and when you're going into veteran dungeons, still not an easy kill. So he's got several phases. He's got the tank and spank phase, which is phase 1. Let tank grab aggro, don't worry about it. He's going to throw out a cross-shaped telegraph that you can interrupt. I strongly suggest you do because it hurts a lot. These little channelers that are around him, they're invulnerable, ignore them. Don't worry about it. They will occasionally cast down a Thunderstrike of the big AoE. Simply dodge out, keep casting. Once he gets down to about 60% health, he's going to knock the weapons out of your hands and you run into phase 2. For phase 2, the Thundercall channelers can now be hit, but they have one caveat. If you're in veteran mode, they still have the invulnerability shield on them. Bladewind the INVOKER will occasionally cast down a Thunderstrike on one of your group members, move that member into one of the channelers. Once the channel is done, the windshield is gone and you can just start blasting the crap out of them. Be very careful though, if you're not fast enough with keeping Thunderstrikes on them, they will get the shield back, which will make your life just a little harder. While that's going on, Bladewind the INVOKER will still hit his cross telegraph, so keep that in mind. Once you take down a Thundercall channeler, they're gone, but something else takes its place. Annoying sparks. These guys will slowly rotate around the perimeter of the battlefield, and if you get hit by them, it will stun you. It's a very long stun, and unfortunately, if you're super unlucky, I should say, you're probably going to get comboed with a cross telegraph or with something else in phase 3, and goodbye. I'm sorry, there's nothing much I can do for you. Once you take down all 3 channelers, you're ready for phase 3. Keep this in mind though, while you're working on it, a lot of groups like to work clockwise from the closest left-hand side channeler. Phase 3 is a doozy. You're going to figure this out when he disarms you again. Quickly grab your weapon if you can. You really don't want to dilly-dally. He's going to start hitting a massive electrostatic pulse, which is a massive telegraph that fills up the entire room with a few safe spots. Interrupt this as much as you can. If you don't have a rotation, just wait for someone else to do it. Or really don't. Just interrupt it. It said, I'm sorry, wrong, bad advice there. While that's happening, the sparks will still keep rotating around. Be careful with your movements. Be careful, be careful, be careful. Stay out of the red, or in my case in this video, the big disco telegraphs, because they will, one, give you epileptic seizures apparently, and they'll kill you. They'll stun you, you get hit up with something else, you're gone. Other than that, it's pretty much a tank and spank, at least in the Wildstar form. And welcome! You finish off your first boss in Stormtalon's Lair. As you make your way through the next section of Stormtalon's Lair, please be careful of your pulls. If you guys have one misstep, you're going to end up with an extra add-on, and it could be devastating, especially if you're not prepared for it, or you're just not having a good time with your tank or a healer. Be very careful. Oh yeah, did I mention you get a new trash mob to worry about, or a new base pop mob? These guys are the SKYBORN Tempests. They're annoying. They will help you bring in more evilness to the party. What they basically do is two massive attacks to worry about. Manifest Cyclone, which will spawn on a single player and will spawn a tornado, because that's what they do. Interrupt it, please, it's not even worth bothering, but if it casts through, just avoid it, or bring it way far away from your group. The actual problem with the SKYBORN Tempest is that they will occasionally drop and charge an electrified zone at speed. That thing lasts like 10 seconds. On top of that, it does really, really big damage. And if you're in the charge range, it's gonna knock you back, which will just interrupt what you're casting. That's not really a lot of fun. Be careful with them, they can bring adds, so have fun. Stormtalon's Lair does have two optional bosses, the first of which is Overseer Driftcatcher. Pretty basic Pel, well, no, I'm wrong, I'm sorry. This guy has a really annoying combo that you should really watch out for. Pretty normal, summon a Cyclone, interrupt it, but then all of a sudden, he'll get an invulnerability shield. Awesome, and he'll just start dropping really quick strips, kind of like the SKYBORN Tempests. Really, watch out for those, dodge them. Problem is that he's invulnerable until you burn through his shield. You need to burn through his shield and then interrupt him, or else those dropping telegraphs will not stop. So you gotta be quick, you gotta be fast, you gotta put out a ton of damage. This is more of a DPS check for Stormtalon more than anything else. Aetheros is the second boss of Stormtalon's Lair, arguably the easiest, but does give groups a pain in the butt because of some massive telegraphs he likes to drop. It's more of a DPS hit than a tank and spank than anything else. You don't need to worry too much about interrupts except for one phase. Keep one. Honestly, you're also going to need a movement ability too. I'll tell you why in just a little bit. First phase is really easy, a tank and spank. Kind of a running theme in this dungeon, right? Well, it's trying to get you acclimated to it. You're going to basically jump out of the torrent telegraphs he's going to try and cast on you. Those are essentially one-hit KOs. Please dodge them. Once he's about a third of the health down, he'll dissipate. Those will become Gusts of Aetheros. Honestly, stop DPSing for just a split second so tank can pick up aggro, then just blast away, really. They will static shock somebody. This is the part I was talking about that can be a pain in the butt for a lot of groups. It will be a single target telegraph, and it will channel for a few seconds. If you have static shock on you, get out of the main area. Run over to the sides. Don't worry about DPSing anything. Let it finish its channel. Dodge out. Get back into the fight. Because the static shock telegraphs last the entire fight. Once all three are dead and you get teleported back to the beginning of the instance by Aetheros. Welcome to the gauntlet! All you have to do now is run through these tornadoes and the random static strikes. See, if you haven't noticed in this video, it's a few of them in the middle. It makes running through a little difficult. You really want to reach Aetheros before he hits 100% power. If he hits 100%, you're all dead. Interrupt him when you can. It's the only moment of opportunity you're going to get in this whole phase. It dodges torrents, unfortunately, and you're back into the first phase, tank and spank. Keep going, dodge torrents, you'll run back into the gusts of Aetheros when he's ready to dissipate, and you just rinse and repeat. The only difference is in phase 3, the whirlwinds and cyclones do not stop. They will continue to run back and forth while Aetheros teleports away from you, tries to hit you with torrents, and you just really can't stop him because he just has invincible armor. And then once he's dead, yay, you're halfway through Stormtalon's Lair, woohoo, you're almost out of here. Well, you have one more corridor full of hell to worry about. Once again, mind your distance, mind your aggro, mind your movement abilities, because these guys are pretty tightly packed for dungeon. Just get through the Stormweavers, get through the Sentinel Shaman combos. Oh, hey, there's that second optional boss I'm talking about. His name is ARCANIST Breezebinder. He has 2 telegraphs you're going to have to worry about. The first one is a pair of tornadoes that will damage and knock you back. They're annoying. Might as well interrupt it. I mean, they're slow and easy to avoid, but just save yourself a headache if you can. Problem is, when he's doing his cast, he has a lot of interrupt armor, so you have to work with your group. He will also try to spawn SKYBORN Gusts. This is the one you really have to worry about, because if you're constantly not interrupting this, he's going to keep summoning Gusts, and keep summoning Gusts, and all of a sudden you're overrun, you're done, wipe. Let's try again. And welcome to the last boss of Stormtalon. It's Lair, but it's Stormtalon. He's kind of like a big dragon turkey thing, like full of electrodes, and he shoots lightning. Well, it's pretty cool looking anyway. So before we get into this fight, you really should, if this is your first time or first few times you're not really fast at getting out of interrupts, bring a crowd control break, a CC break. It's going to save you a massive amount of headache when you're going between phase 1 and phase 2. So here's what we do for phase 1. Let the tank grab the aggro. By all means, if you're DPS and healing, get out of the way. He has a massive front cleave. It will kick the daylights out of you. You don't want that to happen, because it's going to be a fun, crazy fight. Stick to the sides. If you're DPS and healer, try not to go to the back too much if you can. He will occasionally give out a text that says, Stormtalon radiates with power, and it'll target a few people for a random quick thunder call. Dodge out of the way, continue DPSing. At intervals of the fight, after those quick little telegraphs, he will also try to do a following thunder strike. It'll just keep targeting every single player, and every few seconds another long-lasting channel will appear. That telegraph will stay on the ground for a few seconds throughout the duration of the cast. Don't cross the streams. And what I mean by this is don't run into another player's path, because those guys like to stay on the ground, and if you're not careful, well, you're going to get someone killed. Try to coordinate with your team. If you see half of them moving in one direction, don't go in the other. Just follow the path, try to get out of the way, and just constantly DPS on the move. This part of the fight's a little easier for range of the melee, mostly because of how long those things stay on the ground, but whatever. Remember that CC break I was talking about? You're going to need it. He'll knock everybody to the back of the room, and you'll be stunned. You need to get out of that stun as fast as possible, because he's going to start channeling lightning that will converge into the center of the room. It will wipe the group. Once you get over there, interrupt him as fast as you can. There's a moment of opportunity, and continue. Another break you're going to have in this fight is he'll say something, a text on the screen that'll say, electricity flows through so-and-so's name. And some people think it's always a tank. Not always. Whoever gets that telegraph, you'll be disoriented. Please try to make your way as close to Stormtalon as possible. It'll make your melee fighters really happy, because there's a safe zone around you. Get out of that safe zone. Everyone will take ticking damage until they die. You need to stay in there until the duration of that cast. Sounds easy, right? Not quite. While you are the center of this electricity flowing through you, thunder calls will start happening at your center, really. You need to keep moving. Not wildly, just take small measured steps. Unless your tank can just tank through it and your healer can heal through it, and kind of get through that phase, and just repeat these phases through, and Stormtalon is down. Hooray! You've beaten Stormtalon's Lair! You are a mighty hero for killing a dragon electric turkey thing! Well, it's only the first of a few dungeons you're going to find in Wildstar Online. I hope that was a lot of fun for you. It's pretty fun to talk about it and show you what to do and what to avoid. I'm going to come back in the future and show you the rest of the dungeons, Sanctuary of the Sword Maiden, Skullcano, and Kelvarath. Have fun, guys. I'll catch you later.